Hi, my name is Paul Atfield and I work in the Education Outcomes Fund, leading the data and AI area.
Can we talk about data-led decision making and use of AI?
Yes, so at the Education Outcomes Fund, we've been engaging in AI and data across the spectrum to try and improve the efficiency of our learning outcomes. And we've approached this problem by taking AI and introducing it into different work streams, what we've called our AI of Things approach, which is replicating and improving and enhancing existing functions with the usage of AI. And this has enabled us to break down different work streams with the idea in the future to connect these work streams and create a platform which is much more scalable. And an example of this is where we've looked at costing data. So within education programs, there is somewhat a lack of costing data and a lack of usable and scalable costing data, which makes it difficult for governments, funders and implementing partners to fully evaluate the cost of a program and essentially the value for money that can be generated from that program. So we've taken this problem as a distinct stream within our AI of Things framework, and what we've done is we've introduced LLMs to be able to classify costing data. So we take transactional level data, so from implementing partners, and we analyze it, group it, and then produce it as a finished product, as classified with all the data. And what this means on the ground is a process which in the past would take implementing partners months to complete. So they would organize the data, group it together, produce it within different categories. It was a very time-consuming process, and we have turned that process into something which originally took a day and now can take a matter of hours. Now we've optimized the process. So we've taken something which was 3 months into a matter of hours. And within that process as well, we're adding in some calibration, so some checking, returning that data to implementing partners, getting them to validate it. And there is also ring-fenced architecture so that our data doesn't leave our firms for data protection purposes. So with the right structure and the right process, you could produce something which is very scalable. And then the output, or the outcome of this, is you have a structure which can then be replicated through other programs, so the benefit is able to continue within our organisation. But also, which is very different from perhaps manual infrastructures, it's an infrastructure which gets better every time, so you can optimize it and gradually improve it, versus a manual infrastructure which in fact is more subject to atrophy and deterioration over time.
What does this mean for leaders in running colleges, training providers, or awarding organisations? How could you see your initial findings to better help people come up with better data-led decision making?
So I think the lesson for us, and perhaps without having full visibility of all of those work streams, but the lesson from my perspective and architect of Education Outcomes Fund is that by picking specific tasks, approaching them with a data science-led approach and a robust-led approach, but then building them in a way which is scalable and has architecture which can be reused, means that you can create scalable infrastructure, which means you can do things quicker and you get to that endpoint quicker, which is important, and then that enables you to do more. And I think the focus in the past has been very much on people being able to do more with less, and I think we should perhaps focus on just being able to do more. And if you can do that first step more quickly, then that gives you a lot more and more accurately. Then that not only means that you can do more, which is what we really need to do, but it also means that you can go further, because that data that comes in, that analysis is better. And if that analysis is better, when it comes to constructing and building models, if you have better quality data to start with, then how far you can take those models is increased.
And what would you like to see for the future? What are you hopeful about?
I think the collaboration aspect is the part that excites me the most. And like being here at WISE today, talking with everyone sharing their experiences, everyone sharing. You come to WISE and you have, from my seat, I had some exciting things I thought to talk about and speaking, and then you suddenly take a step back and you realise that there's a lot of people in the room, and there's people who have lots of things and lots of experience and lots of projects they're working on, and that level of collaboration on different projects in an environment where the ability to do more with data and AI, the tools that are coming out are happening at a rate of knots. The research papers that are being produced on useful studies are numerous and increasing. So we need an ecosystem and people that work together to be able to share their experiences, and that's the part that I'm most hopeful for, and the part that I think offers the biggest opportunity is people not necessarily working in silos and producing great things, but people connecting those great things together in a way that gives us a full ecosystem of tools.
And there's been a lot of talk at Wise around AI being a leveler globally. So when you're looking at thinking around data-led decision making and AI, what are you sort of thinking that could mean? Because you're coming out from a data and decision-making perspective. What do you think that could mean for the future?
So I'm an optimist generally. So I'm very hopeful of it as being a leveler in terms of giving everyone the equal opportunities. But the caveat I would add to that is to ensure that we've seen there was a Microsoft Diffusion report, I think released a month or so ago, which showed that AI adoption for LLM models was at 1 billion users, which makes it the fastest, according to the report, which is probably true but debatable, the fastest technology in human history. But the report also noted that access to LLMs, access to the infrastructure, is not consistent across nations, with richer nations having greater access. But if that access is improved and it's delivered in a way that's usable in all contexts, then it can definitely act as a leveler. And I think there's people who have presented at this conference talking about ways that teacher training can be introduced through AI-led approaches, that EdTech can be introduced into certain tutoring approaches which are adaptive. And I've been really blown away by the breadth and projects that people are working on, but also the data that has been produced from them. And within our programs at Education Outcome Fund, we're very much looking to create an environment where these tools can flourish and our implementing partners can utilise these. So I think the IO is an opportunity and it needs to be grasped.